because we are going to do a practice here in a little bit that will be a little unique. We're going to do a virtual open house. And so what that's going to look like is I'm going to take you around my home, and I'm going to act like I am the realtor who is holding an open house. And y'all have to be really nice. This is my house, and it's not perfect. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Something, just throw a little wrinkle into things. I know you get sick of seeing my ugly mug just sitting here in an office chair. So we're gonna get up and move around a little bit. When I say we, I mean me. You guys can stay where you're at. In addition to, though, this is gonna really be twofold. So we're gonna do a virtual open house, but we're also going to approach this as an initial listing presentation. Okay, and what I mean by that is I'm going to do a quick virtual open house. That's going to take probably 10 minutes or so to cover, maybe 15, 20. And then the rest of the time, we're going to actually go through the house, and we're going to view my home again. So be nice. We're going to view my home through the lens of a listing agent who is approaching a house for the first time. And I think this is super critical for us, because as we get into 2021, I want you all to feel really comfortable about how to put together a list of priorities for any listing that you're about to take. I want us to understand how to view a home from a stager's perspective. I love what, so I attended Spark yesterday, taught by Jonathan Tomko, and he brought something up that was really profound, I thought. When you get your degree in law, there are so many different specialties, right? And when you get your degree in to be a doctor, there's so many different specialties. But with a realtor, you're just a realtor, and it doesn't cover land, it doesn't cover commercial, it doesn't cover staging, it doesn't cover negotiations, et cetera, et cetera. And so what I want to make sure that as your coach, you all feel really comfortable with walking into a home and giving a person a laundry list of items that will help make their appeal of their home as positive as possible, so that you guys can make as much money as possible for your clients. So I appreciate we got a good list of folks on here this afternoon, and I'm sure one or two more may jump on, but I want to start with a little conversation about our goals for 2021. I was able to meet with most everyone on the call here about your goals for this next year. A lot of us went through a 135, otherwise known as a GPS, and we actually set some goals. And a lot of those goals, like from our one big thing, was maybe it was financially based, maybe it was transaction based. Regardless, under the three items that you guys chose to chase after, those three items, almost every single person in my coaching program, and if you didn't, I actually pushed back a little bit, listed one of your priorities this year as being to get more open houses, to get into open houses. Group discussion: why would getting into or holding open houses be beneficial for our business?
Build client base.
Why would an open house build a client base?
You're finding buyers.
Yeah, because you take down all their information and you add them
So
to
you're
your
saying
database to grow.
So you're saying that I can take down people's information as they walk through the house I'm holding open?
Good.
Huh.
Or you can just have them sign in.
Well, that sounds like a really good way to get on my way to 100 contacts each week. So I think y'all get the point. The objective in conducting open houses is to expand your database. Our database is the lifeblood of our business. You've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it a million times. So adding people to that database can only help. In addition to adding people to your database, one of the things that you all said was that you wanted to make sure you're getting contacts each week. Why would we put a focus on getting real estate contacts each week?
How you're gonna get your appointments.
So I
Are you
need to
gonna-
talk to people. I need to talk to people in the real world in order to get appointments.
That's right.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty simple equation. So Chelsea, if I talk to one person a week, what are the odds of me getting an appointment with that one person?
Probably non-existent.
Well, it's just low. Unless you strike gold on your first person you talk to, I think it's low. If
Yeah.
I talk to 10 people in a week about real estate, do my odds go up?
Yep.
If I talk to 50 people, I then have 50 encounters in which to maybe set an appointment. So my odds go up even more. If you've been on my calls before, I'm always saying 100 is the magic number. What I've found is that 100 contacts will typically lead to a minimum of 1 to 2 appointments. We send out a Google form to all of you. If you're not receiving a Google form each week, please let me know so that I can make sure that we add you to the list. Something's fallen through the cracks. This Google form asks a few simple, very simple questions. Number 1, your name. Number 2, how many real estate contacts did you make last week? Who can explain what a real estate contact is?
Someone you talk to about real estate.
A
Does it
two-way
have to be, does it have to be talking verbally?
No.
No.
But that's ideal.
Anyone you text, message, emailed with, Facebook conversation, anybody is that you communicated with.
As long as it's
two-way.
Not real estate.
Way.
two ways, right? So I don't just send 100 emails out to my database. Nobody responds. I can't count that as 100 contacts because there was not two-way communication. I don't even know if they ever got it. But we can mix this up, and I am much less stringent than my old bold coaches were, where they said I had to make 100 voice-to-voice calls or face-to-face conversations about real estate. I'm stepping up into 2021 and saying, let's use the technology, let's let it work for us. So I've spent 11 minutes now kind of talking about some goals for 2021. Well, let's take a look in this Google form that y'all have been asked to fill out. Only 8 of you have responded. I want to make sure that we're getting this information because I look at these forms and your response is prior to all of our calls so that I can approach the call in hopes of answering a lot of the questions or concerns you guys pose. So the next question is, how many appointments did you set? And then the last question is additional comments, wins, opportunities, or questions. So for instance, one person stated that they would like to be, in their comments, they would like to be a master of command. Wonderful. I would encourage everyone to be a master of command as well. However, and that person I don't think's on, so I'm going to go ahead and say this. They had it says very few real estate contacts this week. Let's not mince words here. We must prioritize our businesses. Becoming a master of command means nothing if you're not using it to talk to people, using it to communicate with people. And we certainly can. It's a wonderful system and model that we can use. Smart plans are awesome. We have gotten quite a bit of feedback from our smart plans. And it doesn't replace good old-fashioned picking up the phone. So now I see 10 people have responded. Thank you all for cramming here. I'm just going to run through real quick the update. I see one person had over 70, one person had 2 real estate contacts. I see 71. Melody, you're getting close. Good. 1 contact, 6 contacts, 128 contacts, 146 contacts, 3, 10, and that's it. So I want to ask really quickly, because I think this will be fruitful and helpful for those of us who are not getting our contacts. And when I say not getting our contacts, I mean you're not getting 100. Anything less than 100, guys, we just got to expect more. And that's my role as your coach, is to push you nicely towards that goal. Chelsea, I'd like to ask you a question. How many deals have you closed in the since you've been licensed?
3.
How
Well-
many? And how long have you been licensed?
Since July.
Okay, so we'll just call it 6 months. How many A buyers would you say you have?
8. I have a running list.
Okay, when I say A buyer, I just mean simply that somebody that would offer right now if we showed them the perfect house. How many contacts did you get last week?
128.
Okay. How did you get those 128 contacts? Because I think it'd be beneficial to hear.
Leads for sure. Follow up. I went through my database and pulled anyone's name that marked as a lead, whether they were an old lead or a brand new lead, and just followed up with them. A lot of people did respond just simply with, hey, thanks for reaching out. Still working on this or figuring this out, but I felt like it was important because I was at least still staying in front of them. With it being a new year, I sent out a large message of, for the subject, put like new year, new home rather than new year, new you. It dawned on me that I had a lot of connections from other states that know people or have family here in Ohio. So I sent a message out to them as well. And again, I didn't get responses from everyone. Some of the responses were just Happy New Year. But I did get quite a few responses and I was kind of surprised by it, but I did get a lot of responses that said, Happy New Year. Thanks for the information. I'll be sure to save your contact information. Yep, I still know people that live outside of Columbus. I'll be sure to let them know that you're a realtor. And I also, I don't know why I hadn't done this before, but everybody I talked to, as far as a lead goes, after my initial communication with them, I send them my app link. And every time that they're on that app or looking at something, I get a notification. And like I said, I didn't always do it and I just started doing it and it's turned into something really great. Is every single time I get a notification that someone's on my app and looking, I send them a text message and say, hey, I saw you were just viewing this home at 123 Main Street. Let me know when we can set up a showing. And it has worked. So that's something that's been really great. I have on my schedule my very first workshop. So I've been working that into conversations to kind of build it up, even if it's just with friends that are asking like, hey, how's real estate going? Great. I actually have this workshop coming up for first-time home buyers. I have a handful of friends that are renting. So have told them like, to come out to this, or if you know anyone that's looking to buy, spread the word. So between those messages and conversations and following up, had a busy week.
What tool or system did you use to send out your email communications?
I used Facebook Messenger for a majority of it, but if it was people that I am not Facebook friends with, I just pulled their information from my database and used my personal Keller Williams email account. I could have used Command, which would have been smarter. I haven't played with setting up an email campaign yet.
Well, it sounds like you've been busy in terms of doing the work to make contact with people. And the fruit is in the number of buyers you are now working with. And I chose to pick on Chelsea because I know firsthand, I see the work that she's putting in order to get those contacts, and it's bearing fruit. If you take nothing else away from this call or any call I ever have, do the actions. Make the time to make the calls. Do you time block this, Chelsea? How do you get your contacts each week? What's that look like, your schedule?
I typically do it first thing in the morning unless I have a call or something. I would say so, like Tuesday, Thursdays, it's my first thing. 9 o'clock I start it. Monday, Wednesdays, and usually Fridays as well. It's more of like an afternoon thing, like a lunchtime thing. I wouldn't say I've seen a huge difference in response depending on which time of day, but definitely during the like business hour days when people are behind their screens.
Cool. And let's see here. So you've also had your children pretty frequently lately, right?
Yes, too
So
frequently.
you're still able to do this with your children in the house.
It can be
Okay.
difficult, but yes.
But you find a way. Moral of the story, guys. I want to say this is your coach. I love you all, and I know I can say this to you, and you'll understand the way that I'm coming at it. We can have results or excuses, but we can't have both. Okay.
I think a big thing that's changed for me, like personally, internally, and I know Josh, you've said this, like not to care, but I did, like I had a mindset that like I can't bug people, but I pushed that out the window, and it has helped to just be like, until I get a nasty message back telling me to leave them alone, well then why leave them alone?
Yeah. Don't say no for people.
Yeah.
Casey, you were the person that got 140 plus contacts. How are you doing it?
So, like I told you, I'm relaunching the 8 listings. So I had done some open houses with those, that were specific, and I sent out Facebook ads for those specifically. People that I didn't see, I've called every one of those contacts saying, "Hey, we're doing an open house for this. Please come by." I sent another docs out to those people also too. So if I didn't get them on the phone, I sent them an email. I'm also doing that horsepower farm. So any contacts I got from that, it's calls for that. Or if I had any hits on any of my posts, I've been reaching out to people that like my posts and then trying to conversation with them that way. And I've gotten active right now. I've got 5 buyers right now. Oh, sorry. In fact, that's one of my buyers. Sorry.
You're doing the actions. I appreciate you. Thank you both for sharing. And the only reason that I had these two talk was because I think it's beneficial to hear from somebody who's your peer, not just from somebody who's, maybe, ahead of you guys. So hopefully that's beneficial to hear. And what's your schedule look like, Casey?
Today, it's nuts because since I did that listing, I actually have showings throughout the rest of the day.
When do you lead gen?
I lead gen in the morning. I'm usually up at 5. I get my work stuff that I have to get done. And then usually just after my walk with my dog is usually when most of my phone calls are made, before 11 o'clock. And then follow up is if I have meetings in between there, I have constant writing down of my notes of follow up. So I have a list of all the people. It's a yellow pad I always keep with me, contacts that I have. So that's how I just make sure that I follow through. And if I don't make those calls that day, they're on my list for the next day.
Good deal, man. Good deal. We've got good models, good systems in place. So that's what I'm going to talk a lot about this year is getting our lead gen time in. So if you're getting sick of it, I apologize. I want to see your businesses grow and flourish. 1, 2, 10 contacts a week isn't going to get you to hit your goals. Cool. Let's talk about open houses. I am going to disconnect from this and we're going to take a little walk. All right. Sorry about this. So we are going to talk about open houses now. You're going to see me run it. Can you all hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. You're going to see me walking through my house. We're going to hold a mock open house, and you're going to see things from both sides, really. We will enter the house looking at it through a potential buyer's perspective, and we will then flip the script and do it kind of from a realtor's perspective. And then we're going to end by doing a quick tour through the home. And you guys are going to give me feedback on how I can get my home as showing ready as possible so that we can make top dollar. I think these two practices will prove critical in when you do get open houses, holding the most beneficial open house possible so you're getting maximum number of contacts for your database and you're leaving people with a really good taste in their mouth. So, can somebody answer, why do we do open houses?
To get buyers.
Any other answers?
Sell our listings.
Make contacts.
Okay. The correct answer in my mind is what Melody said. How frequently do you sell your listing through the open house? Does anybody have a stat on that?
Isn't it like less than 10%?
Yes, it's like less than 5%. So less than 5% of the time we actually sell our home through the open house. So somebody that walks through the open house. That number is crazy to me, right? Because I think our old school line of thinking was that the open house is what really sold it for us. When in actuality, happens so seldomly. The real answer is to woo new business. Okay, and so that's why when we approach an open house, our goal is to get as many people through as possible. So on the front end of this, we want to make our marketing stand out as strong as possible so that we're attractive. And so on Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon or whenever you decide to do this, you have, I always called 20 people successful. I always felt like if I got 20 people through my open house, that's 20 new contacts. And out of 20, surely I should be able to get at least one or two, maybe new buyers. That's why I give this stat that for every listing that you take, you should earn a buyer out of it. So that's where that comes from. So we've got to make sure, if we're talking strategy now, we've talked about this a little bit before, our strategy needs to be to get to the open house. So in today's market, it's crazy, right? Can we all agree that it's a little crazy? We are sitting on, as of yesterday, we were at under 1,800 listings active, single family listings across the entire MLS. That's a pittance. We're sitting on 4 weeks of inventory. Okay. A seller's market is 4 months of inventory or less. So the lazy realtor, the habit that I went into last year, middle of the way through, was I listed the house on Wednesday, showing started on Thursday, and I just wanted to accept the best offer possible by Saturday. I did not want to make it to the open house. Shame on me, because I wasn't practicing what I preach. And how much business did I miss out on? I'm not concerned that we didn't get the seller the maximum amount of net to seller possible. I'm not concerned about that, because we would get 10 to 15 offers in those 2 days. So it's not like, a couple more is going to really beef that up much. But I did not do my due diligence to grow my business. So I'm going to alter my strategy. What do you guys think a good strategy should look like in terms of getting to an open house? There's no right or wrong answer right now.
What do you mean by getting to an open house?
Great question. So as the example that I just shared, I'd list it on Wednesday, start showings on Thursday, and we would just accept, like, we would maybe set a deadline for Friday night or Saturday to accept the offer. We would never get to an open house on Sunday.
You could start out by doing an open house.
Start out.
Yes, start out, you could say coming soon, and then Thursday from such and such a time, or Saturday from such and such a time, we're gonna have an open house, and they can see the house whenever after.
It's a great idea. What else?
Can ask for any offers to be left open until Saturday, 8 p.m. or whatever, when the open house would be finished.
Yeah, I think what you guys are getting at is exactly where my mind is at. We just need to figure out a way to get there. Okay. And so in my mind, I am jiving with both of you, honestly. What's preventing us? I think there's a hesitancy to hold open houses during the week because we feel like we're not going to get as much traffic. And that may be factually or data driven in our experience is true. And why not hold 2 open houses then? Or why not give one of you guys an opportunity to hold a house open on a Thursday and get some contacts that way? I think we just need to reset our minds in terms of getting lump sums of people through the house so that we can grow our business from an additional buyer perspective. Is it only buyers that come through open houses?
No.
No.
Who else?
Nosy neighbors.
Potential sellers.
Yeah.
And what are they doing? What are they doing walking through your open house?
Telling their friends and family, hopefully.
Or comparing it to their own to see what they can get for their house.
Or checking out the agent.
Bingo. I love that last one, especially. You're all right, 100%. They're interviewing you. They're potentially interviewing their next listing agent because they've done all the work on their house. And to Chelsea's point, we're seeing where we compare to your listing. Tell us what you know about the market. Well, if you are in your open house spouting off statistics about the neighborhood and you've proven to them that you're their local expert, then odds are they're going to think really highly of you and your abilities. And then a day or two later, when they see that the house is in contract and you follow up with them because you got their contact information and say, hey, we had a great conversation the other day, Pamela, would love to talk to you more about maybe getting your house ready to sell because this one just went into contract for over asking price. That's pretty sweet, right? And odds are people are going to really like that stick-to-itiveness and persistence in terms of you following up with them. All right, cool. So if open houses are to gain buyers, to gain additional buyers, we want to make sure that our open house is appealing. I am going to act as though I've already gotten here early. Let's say it's Sunday at 1:30 and the open house starts at 2 o'clock. We're going to run an open house 2 to 4. We're making sure not to select a football playoff Sunday where the Browns are playing because that would be silly, right? If the Browns are playing between 2 and 4, do not hold an open house. I hate to say this, but if the Steelers are playing as well, and odds are this weekend they're both playing each other. But be paying attention to what's going on in the world around you. If Ohio State's playing between 12 and 3 on a Saturday, don't hold an open house during that time. No one's going to come, nor should they. There's priorities in this life. Go Bucks, right? So I've already done the pre-work though. What does the pre-work consist of when holding an open house?
Getting signs up.
Where?
Direct them to the house. Any entry leading to the house. Any entry or exit from the house. If we have signs leading.
Perfect, Jason. What should those signs have on them?
Open house this way. Coming. The time. The day. And of course, company you work for.
Cool.
Balloons or something to grab attention.
Yeah. Add balloons, add some fluff. This is your one time to be as flamboyant as possible, to be out there in people's spaces. Get your balloons, get your banners, get whatever you can think of. Have a person out there spinning a sandwich board, like go the extra mile. Cool. So I've got my signs out. Let's see. What else should I do from a pre-work standpoint?
Would send either walk the neighborhood or at the very least send personal invitations to the neighbors to attend the open house.
Nailing it. Yeah. Why would we do that again?
Well, they may be thinking about selling their house for one thing, but also they want to come to the open house, to be honest. So, it's better to invite them so that they feel welcome to come. And, maybe they know somebody that wants to live in the neighborhood, or maybe they're thinking of selling.
Yeah. Put yourselves in put yourselves in this question.
Yeah.
When your neighbor's house comes up for sale, do you go check it out?
Oh, yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are nosy by
Absolutely.
nature. We are nosy by nature. We want to know what Bob and Martha next door have
Sure.
cooking in their kitchen, right? So that we can compare and we can beat them. Honestly, we want to leave that house thinking, oh, our house is better than theirs, and they got how much? Oh my gosh! It's just our human nature.
People
So
do that.
when you send that invite out to the entire neighborhood, you're not only proving that you're going the extra mile to anyone who's potentially listing, but you're also getting bodies through and ultimately going to be padding your database and your contacts. Okay, what else? What's another key of before the listing is ready to show at an open house? What else should I be doing?
Have flyers ready to be able to hand out to people. Come in.
Great. Do I have to pay for those myself?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, your marketing people can do it for you. Wherever you're partying with, your title company to, I've got contractors that'll do them for me. Mortgage brokers will do it for you. They'll pay for that. You don't really need to. Just partner with the right people.
Bingo. Freebies. That's what we want. We want to pinch our pennies so that we can earn more money and be more profitable. Great call out.
Question. So when you invite the neighbors into your open house, if you in particular think you're going to have a great showing for your open house, would you recommend inviting the neighbors an hour before the regular open house, where it gives you more time to spend with other potential buyers?
I love that idea. I've done that before, where I invited them to an early start time, and I made sure that they knew this is a neighbor exclusive. Only you and your peers around here are going to be able to get through. So come before all the traffic hits. You kind of have to turn into a car salesman. Like, we got to turn on the charm a little bit and explain why it's so critical for them to come early. Because you don't want to be standing there with your thumb up your butt, right? I mean, twiddling your thumbs. It's not fun. Yeah, great call out. And I've also done, Rory, a neighborhood only happy hour before. So I listed a home that had a pizza oven and a killer backyard situation. I actually cooked a couple pizzas in the pizza oven. I had that out. I had some wine, some snacks for kids and stuff, and even some what do you call them, Truly or whatever. And I just tried to make it a fun event because, number one, I wanted to have fun. And remember, that's at the end of the day what I strive to impart on you guys is have fun doing this. So if you like drinking wine with new people, like, just do it. Maybe not with COVID. And this is all with tongue in cheek. Like, a lot of the stuff we're covering, we may not be able to do 100% due to COVID, and we can still do a lot of it.
So what day of the week did you do that?
It was a Thursday, I want to say.
Okay, like a
And
Thursday.
I had decent turnout. I would say I had 12 people through. And honestly, guys, if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't think it needed to be a 2 or 3 hour happy hour or open house. I think it could have been done in 1 hour. That's just a correction of errors. I think that like these preview things, just consolidate time so that you're not there for all day. Casey, I know you've done some extended time frame open houses, and that's a lot of sitting there just twiddling your thumbs. And my time's worth a lot in my eyes. I want to be with my family. So 2 hours max. You could probably get by with an hour.
I have a question.
Yes.
So again, for example, I live in a condominium complex. So we can't solicit. You know, there's no solicitation signs. So how would I hypothetically invite the neighborhood if I had a listing to an open house?
It's not really solicitation. You're not asking them to purchase anything. You're just inviting them to an event.
Exactly.
Just a neighbor.
Say on it, like if honestly,
But I
in
can't
all the
really put
time that
anything in
I've-
their mailbox, can I?
You could not. Well, that's a federal thing, anyways. You can't. put
Right.
anything in the box. You
Right.
can knock on their door.
knock
That's
on their
fine.
door and leave a flyer at their front doorstep or something. I would say of all the doors I've knocked, there have been an ample amount because for some reason around Lewis Center, everyone's got a no solicitation sign on their door.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of unfriendly people out there. If you
Right.
have a no soliciting sign on your front door, I'm just going to say it. You're not as friendly as you could be. But in all honesty, only
Okay.
like literally 2 or 3 people have ever called me out on that. Hey, did you
Okay.
see my sticker here? It says no soliciting. Normally I just come and say, hey, I just love to invite you to an open house for only neighbors. And honestly, most people feel like, oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, cool. I'll hit it up.
Okay.
Ask for forgiveness later. Yeah, I would just say, oh, I don't think I'm selling anything here. I'm just trying to invite you to an event. Yeah,
Well, you-
play with the wording a little bit.
Yeah, you could get the addresses for that specific area too and just mail them an invitation.
Yeah, a little postcard. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're having some great conversation, and hopefully you guys are taking some good keys away from this. I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to twist the camera around, and this is going to be a mock open house. You're going to come along with me through the eyes of a buyer. We're going to do one that is a kind of maybe a what not to do. And then we're going to do one that's a little bit more in line with what we want to see. And we'll have conversation through this.
Okay.
So this is our mock open house that's not ideal. And afterwards, you're going to tell me why it's not ideal. Oh, can't wait to see this house. Just hit the market. Love the neighborhood. Oh, nice. Well, it's nice and clean. Good first impression here. Let's see what's up there. Oh, is somebody home? I see some balloons. Do they have a party here? Interesting. A little dark in the foyer here. Wonder if they have any lights. Oh, I see somebody's working on a puzzle here. Well, at least they're almost done. Nice room. Cool pictures. I see an office over here. No one's greeted me. I wonder if anybody's here. I see an office that's a train wreck. Did they know that there was an open house today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this room's cool. Okay. I guess I'm just doing a self-guided tour though. Nobody's greeted me. I don't see a soul in here. There's a playroom over here. They've got their cat out. What the heck? Hi, kitty cat. I'm allergic to you, so I'll stay away. Okay. Fire's going, so I'm assuming somebody's here somewhere. Oh, well, there's a computer out. I wonder if I'm supposed to sign in, or I see some business cards here. Is the agent not here? What's the scoop here? Let's take a look around here. Oh, I see some stains on the ceiling. That's not good. See some stuff out on the counter here, but it's kind of clean. I get a vision for what our house could look like if we put our stuff in it. Okay. Let's see what's over here. We're gonna act like the agent was in the bathroom or something. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your impressions of this open house so far.
Number
Is
one,
it fun?
no. Number one, you need to go in that house prior to your clients going into it. It's a security issue, number one.
Amen. So number one, be present. Be present in your open house.
Make sure the home itself is ready and staged appropriately.
Yeah, that's a big one. And that's something that you all didn't really say in terms of your pre-open house checklist. But if that's not on there, you're gonna be in for a rough surprise. Your vision of what a home should look like prior to an open house needs to come to fruition. And that happens by you getting there at least an hour early, I would say. Put your signs out and then allow yourself plenty of time in the actual house, turning on all the lights, making sure that all the blinds are open. You want as much light as possible in this house, making sure that the fireplace is on if you've got a fireplace, making sure that rooms are picked up, making sure that puzzles aren't left out. If cats are out or dogs are out, like, let's get them out of the house. Let's not risk anything by, like, let's say I really was allergic to pets. I would probably turn right around and leave.
And right now too, should be some kind of signage about wearing a mask and, covering shoe covers and having some masks there and keeping distance. So sometimes you get busy, you can't, you're not always right at the door all the time. You're with other clients, but they need to be aware of sort of the rules as soon as they come in, and hand sanitizer.
Do you think you should put a mask, or not put on a mask, obviously you should, have a sign when you enter that masks are required?
Nowadays, yeah.
Like
And just have it right at the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a little stand, like a little coffee table or something at the front door, maybe even right outside. Honestly, with COVID, and I'm giving examples, not COVID really, just because I'm hopeful that we'll come out of this. For COVID's sake, if you're going to hold an open house, I would encourage you to have a partner, somebody standing at the front door, metering people in. It would be Armageddon if you let 10 people in at the same time and somebody got COVID. That would be a real bad deal. So good call outs, guys. Great call outs. We are going to, we're going to change it up now, and we're going to do one where an agent is actually present. Now I'm going to ask you to, bear with me here. It's just me. So I have no one on the tripod here. All right, going into the house here. Going into the house, I open the door and I'm greeted with plenty of natural light. I've got all the lights on inside here. As I come in, I see a fireplace. That's great. It feels nice and warm. And I hear a little bit of music in the background. It looks nice. And then around the corner, I see, hello, how we doing? This is so ridiculous, by the way. Hey, how you doing? My name's Josh, and I'm the realtor that's holding this house open. I'm so glad you've come. If you don't mind, the sellers have asked that everyone check in. It's kind of COVID protocol right now. So if you will go to the kitchen, there's a laptop that you can actually sign in with. Your information doesn't stay up, so nobody else can see it. It's just for COVID protocol. If you wouldn't mind submitting your information over there. You'll also, because you're taking your time to do that, you'll also be entered into a drawing to win a free Topgolf session. So in the meanwhile, after you sign in, make sure to make yourself at home. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Grab some literature on your way out and also grab a snack. Sound good? Great. So let's go over here. So what you see here is a little laptop, and it's got this is not my actual house, but this is a open house sign-in sheet. Why is this important?
That's how you get your contact.
And during COVID, it's also contract tracing also too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you like how I use COVID as an excuse to get people's contact information?
Mhm.
Like this is for your safety. Okay. Now in non-COVID times, we would still ask for that because, and blame another person, blame the seller. Say, my sellers have asked me to get the contact information of everybody. And I'd like to do it so that I can personally thank you for coming through the house. Okay, cool. So let's see how this works. Touch to sign in. Okay.
Josh, what is that, Drew?
I'll show you in a second. Oh, what? So there's 5 questions here. Moral of the story is when you're done with this will disappear off the screen and it'll go back to this screen. Okay. So once I've input the answers to my 5 simple questions, it's like phone number, email, are you working with an agent? Do you look to buy? It's 5 simple questions. It takes a normal person about 30 seconds max to fill out, and then they're on to they're on to go see the house. This is a free app. It's called Open Home. Can y'all see that? I am a big fan of the technology. So I don't want a piece of paper out. That seems so archaic to me. Plus, I don't want other people coming in and grabbing other people's information. So let's use technology. When you're done with the open house, you'll get an email from Open Home, and it'll have all the contacts for everybody that you spoke to. I would also recommend keeping a list of notes on your phone so it's on your person. It's not obtrusive like a clipboard or anything, that keeps track of people. So if John, hey, John, hey, what's your name, sir? Well, my name's John. I'm not really interested in buying right now. Okay, great. And then he ends up asking you 15 questions about the house. Odds are he's interested in buying, and you need his information, and you want to take those notes down. What you see behind me here, behind that is some business cards and a little thing to attract people to sign in. Okay. I do not have pamphlets and stuff because I just got this harebrained idea to hold a virtual open house the other day. So I did not get any flyers made, but ideally we would have flyers on the table. We would have snacks on the table. We would have some bottles of water on the table, or the kitchen. There's some music playing. It's a nice chill vibe in here. That's just my style. I wouldn't put any like Pantera or Metallica on. I wouldn't put anything that's really ethnic. Just put something that's very, I don't know, basic. Any questions about kind of that mentality? Now, you'll also, I want to note one thing. I do not follow people around the open house. I think it's more like stalkerish to do that. Even if there's only one couple in the house, I will stay kind of positioned in that kitchen area. They can come back to me, and I will try to make sure that I meet them before they leave the house. So I will kind of monitor footsteps. You can hear the footsteps in the house. Unless there's just a plethora of people, you'll get a really good gauge of where people are at in the house. You'll hear what they're talking about. And again, keep notes. Stalk them a little bit so that when you reach out, you can say, hey, I overheard you, talking about maybe listing in a couple months. Well, I'm your guy. I'm your gal.
Can I ask you about safety? I noticed your knives were on the counter. That would be one thing that I would definitely hide away. But what other things should we be looking for in regards to safety?
Medication.
Pills,
that medication, any
jewelry,
pills, alcohol, jewelry.
like
Weapons,
documents,
guns.
cards, money, credit cards.
I
Yeah,
meant like,
anything that your client wouldn't want to get stolen. That's how I kind of phrase it with people.
what about like personal safety? Guns, of course, and the knives. Is there anything else that comes to mind?
Don't go to the basement.
Yeah, don't go to the basement.
Let them go to the basement and ask you questions and come back up.
This is a great conversation that I'm glad you brought out, because as a 6'5" male, I haven't felt unsecure before, and it could happen to anybody.
Sorry. Hey, Josh,
I
can you let
am.
me back in?
She's not in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I've not felt that need to have additional hands before. And I want to say that you need to look out for yourself. If you feel unsafe in any situation, or if you're holding an open house, honestly, in the ghetto or in a bad situation, Chelsea's holding up her pepper spray. You're welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you.
See, I got my team pink pepper spray. So make sure that you feel safe no matter where you're at. So have a second set of eyes, have a male escort you, and maybe they sit down on the couch and watch the game. I don't care. Like, look out for you, number one. There's only one of you. So great question. If in a perfect world, I think it would look more like a partner. So you get another agent maybe from this group and you say, hey, would you stand at the entrance door and just monitor people coming in? And if anyone was to seem sketchy, like, why don't you come in here? Hey, Katie, can you come in here for a second? If anything starts to feel a little off. And it doesn't matter if you're in the ghetto or if you're in Upper Arlington, guys. Take precautions no matter where you're at.
Hey,
Yeah,
Josh,
I
does Keller Williams allow for concealed carry?
Ooh, that's a question I have never been asked.
Yeah, you
I
can
will
come to one of my open houses. You can monitor the door.
No, I was just
Yeah,
wondering
we
because
need
some
like
folks just
a
do.
bouncer on your front. No, I do not know the answer to that. And boy, I'd hate to ever need that.
Yeah.
You know, one other thing, Josh, that in the past I had done was, regardless of where you are in the house, whether you're just showing the house or an open house, if you feel uncomfortable at all, always make sure you're the one closest to the door. So if they want to go upstairs and look around, fine. Let them go first, you go behind them. So that if anything would happen, they haven't blocked you from the door.
Before they leave, make sure you're thanking them for their time and leaving a good lasting impression. We only have a handful of minutes here left, so I'm going to finish with us really quickly walking the house on our initial consultation, our initial listing appointment, to try to simulate creating a checklist for our seller to maximize their profits. So as I'm getting around here, don't be buttheads and point out all the loose ends, but just call out the big things that you're seeing in terms of me prepping for showings. What do I need to do in order to prep for showings? From this initial entrance, I don't see a lot. I don't see any personalized artwork. I don't see a lot of clutter. As I look up though, I see those balloons, right? So that's probably something I'd want to get rid of.
Have that light on up there.
There you go. There you go, butthead. All lights on, all blinds open. I've got a book on the stairs that would need to be cleaned up. What I do at listing appointments is I take a virtual checklist on my notes app on my phone, and then I send that to my client after the listing appointment is done and I've got the listing. It allows you to keep track of things, and it allows your seller to keep track of things and create like a checklist essentially. Yes, Rory?
Would you recommend that they take the photographs on the wall down in the office before the open house?
I tend to say I'd rather have something on the walls than nothing. And if they don't have a million photos of themselves, then I'm okay with it. If it's just one or two, then I'm
Mhm.
okay with it. I purposely didn't show you guys the office again because it looks bad. I do appreciate the vague photos or like signs that say stuff like home is where the heart is or whatever. I love that stuff. Now, what would you say about this? I've got some board games and stuff in here. What should I do in order to be 100% ready so that people can see themselves in the house?
I'd actually leave them. They are organized enough. Just make sure they're stacked nicely. It makes people feel like they could see their stuff there.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing, you just clean the clutter. It needs to be organized and put together. It doesn't seem like they just ran out of the house 40 seconds before you showed up.
I love it. Yeah. So declutter a little bit is good advice.
And if they need to put, things in boxes and stuff, it's okay to have some boxes in the garage or boxes in the basement because people expect that as long as it's not too much. If they just don't know where to put things.
Amen. Got some, so I'm in the kids' playroom. Now, if I want people to envision this as whatever they want it to be, what should I be doing? So maybe each room should tell a story, I think, and it should be vague enough to be viewed in any light possible. So my notes going into this room would be, hey, number one, there are some grids missing. Can we find that other grid or just take the other three out? Because nobody, like, grids are 1990s. Clean up the clutter around the wall. Just make this wall empty. Unplug the little cheapy iPad thingies here. Get the pillow off there. Get the cat out of the house. Make sure, clients, you are planning to be out of the house Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Just make plans. And then maybe I just declutter a little bit up top here. Maybe make it look a little bit more presentable because Legos are cool, whatever.
Would
We
you
are
take
running
the
out of.
rug?
What's that?
Would you take the rug up?
If you could see under the rug, you'll know the answer is no.
Well, as far as that goes, I know the King Lincoln office, we do a lot of staging for our listings. So when we go and do the staging, we pretty much go through and take, okay, we want to get rid of this, get that, get it. So we pretty much do everything. So we know what the house is going to look like before we even leave, before the open house starts. So
Good.
that's just
Good.
how we do things.
No, that's great practice to be in. So I mentioned there's some stains up top here. So I always leave my sellers with one or two major things that I would focus on fixing prior to the listing. Now, so we just we had a not even recently, it's been like a year ago, we had a tub leak and I just need to paint that. It's not been an issue since. We got it remedied. It's fine, but I've been too lazy to fix it. So that would be a major thing that would cause concern in the eyes of most buyers, right? Water intrusion causes concern. So let's paint that. It's a cheap fix. I'm not going to break the bank. And you're going to make top dollar because you've fixed this. I see some clutter on top, some cookies and Christmas stuff.
That all needs to go.
That's a sick logo cookie though. Oh my gosh.
How is that not eaten?
Too many sweets. Make sure you got nothing in the sink. Like little things. A lot of these things are common sense, guys, for us, but they may not be for our sellers. So making sure that we're having open and honest conversations is going to lead to a verdict at the end that is favorable for our sellers. And that's ultimately why we are in business. So, that this has hopefully been a beneficial call in terms of getting to see tangible things that need to be fixed, but also just to have a really good different conversation as we've been through the house. I'm going to work on my presentation skills going forward, maybe get a partner to come help me, but hopefully you get the gist of how to hold an open house a little bit more successful, to make sure that you're getting enough clients through and to make sure that you are capturing that information. The one thing that we didn't say is, as soon as the open house ends, why not send a thank you video? Why not send a thank you email? Why not send a thank you text? Even a phone call saying, hey, Rhonda, I just really appreciated our time together. It was a pleasure to meet you. Again, if you don't have my information, this is my cell phone. Please keep it. Your goal after the open house is to stay top of mind, Crest or Colgate, to these brand new people that you just hopefully sealed the deal with. Cool. A lot of information, hopefully taking away something key. Any questions outside of this, please holler at me. Don't be afraid to ask. Cool.
Okay.